What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? We're gonna get to this is the season finale of Marrying Millions, season 1. Now, season 2, I think they might have had all of season 2 and they great start up for season 3. So we're gonna get caught up because season 3 starts at the end of January. So we're gonna get caught up. Don't worry about it. So let's start with the boring to the most dramatic, I guess. So we have Katie and Colton. So remember they broke up. Remember she broke up with Colton because she said, listen, if the families can't get on board, I don't want to hurt the families, my daughter, my mom. And so she broke up with him. But she's sad, upset, depressed, blah, blah, blah. And her daughter, she's talking to her daughter about it. And I feel like a part of me feels like she was guilting her daughter. And another part of me feels like her daughter felt guilty. But neither here nor there, she was talking to her daughter about why she broke up with him and what was happening and why she made the decision that she made. And her daughter was like, well, I thought that I was like, yes, I had some issues with it, but I didn't feel like I was actively doing anything that would make you guys feel bad. So maybe I need to step back and maybe I need to realize that I was doing some stuff that was out of place, And so her daughter ended up calling Colton to come over. Mom didn't know he was coming. They had a talk. Basically, he was like, I know you miss me. I miss you. She was like, yes, I miss you too. But the family, he was like, listen, I ain't tripping over the family. It's me and you. We in this together. And I guess she felt like because she had the daughter, the daughter set the whole thing up. Her daughter was cool with it. So, child, they got back together. Okay. Bree and Bill. I think they're the next least anticlimactic situation. So, Bill, last episode, Bill told his ex-wife he wanted to marry Bree. So we see them talking and sort of just talking about their life and this is the last year and how they've been together and how much they love each other and, he loves her so much and how much she's changed and he's just loved seeing her grow and blah, blah, blah. So he decides that he's going to take her somewhere. He doesn't tell her where they're going. It's all mysterious. And I'm thinking, oh, he's gearing up for like this whole proposal. They pull up into a house. It's a house, and Bree was like, shoot, it's a nice, it's a house, but it's got bars on the door and everything's got this security. So they get inside and it's a jeweler. And Bill was like, yeah, I don't go to malls and go to jewelry stores in the malls. When I want a jeweler, I check out my man. I think his name was Jake. Kind of like, was it Jake the Jeweler? Maybe I'm thinking about Jake the Jeweler. Back in the day that all the rappers went to, but then he got into a little bit of tax problems. But anyway. So we had that. And he was like, pick anything you want. And when I say it was some nice, like that's one of those things, like when when you were a kid and your parents would take you to Toys R Us and say, pick a toy. Like, are y'all crazy? I'm supposed to just pick one toy at this whole store full of toys. I'm supposed to figure out which one I want. The pressure. Okay, and I felt like it was the same thing. Like you say pick anything you want. So then he starts asking the guy about engagement rings, and the guy was like, oh, I got this right here, I got this one right here, and it's this many carats, and it's this and it's that. And he's like, well, I'm gonna leave y'all alone, let her make her final decisions or whatever. And so Bree was like, what are you doing? Oh my God, what are you doing? And he went through this whole moment to say, one day I hope to marry you, but I don't think that you're ready right now. And honestly, he said, if I felt that you were ready, I would ask you. But I think that, because you're just so young and it's just so much more, like you're just not ready. I've been through divorce. It's not fun. I don't want to do it again. Basically, the next time I do it, it's going to be forever. He said, so at first he was like, I don't think you're ready. And then he was like, and I'm not ready either. So why you ask that man about engagement rings? If you're not ready, I'm not ready, and we ain't ready together. Why are we having this conversation? Just let me get a diamond necklace and let's go. Okay? So then they got a promise ring. And that thing was huge. I mean, the rock was like, I promise you that thing sat this big on that girl's hand. I said, yeah. Anyway. So that's Bree and Bill. They still together, honey, but they not engaged or nothing. Then we get to Megan and Sean. Megan is a mess. Okay, so it's the rehearsal dinner. It's the night before the wedding, okay? So, Sean and his parents are coming. Now, remember, Sean and his mom and dad had a horrible divorce. They don't really mess with each other like that. They do not have a good relationship. But they were there, for the rehearsal dinner for Sean. And the rehearsal dinner was just the four of them. Like, normally, rehearsal dinners that I've been to before, it's the whole bridal party. But it was just them. So, do what you do. It was them and their parents. So it was her parents. And Sean was like, me and Megan just come. I don't know what my parents would have in common with her parents because, my parents are, are very wealthy. And her parents, they just come from very humble beginnings. And I'm like, so they can't have a conversation over dinner? Because they in a different tax bracket? Boy, bye. But Megan, I feel like Megan, I don't think she purposely was starting trouble. I think maybe it was the nerves and you ain't know what else to say. But she gonna say to Emilio, you could feel the tension on the other side of the table between Sean and his two parents. So then she gonna say, Emilio, you okay? Are you all right? I feel like maybe you're, and he was like, no, I'm good. And she was like, it's really nice to see y'all together or something like that. She said, when was the last time y'all were together? And they were like kind of looking at each other like, hell, I don't want to remember. Like, I'm like, why are you trying to force a dialogue between those two people? Those are grown people. And I feel like they were being very adult to just show up without fighting and arguing. Like, they were being very civil to each other. Why are you stirring the pot? Girl, if y'all don't talk about the weather or something, because you probably don't want to talk about politics, because our politics probably ain't in line. Damn sure don't want to talk about religion. So, she brings up the prenup. Girl. Now, Emilio was like, oh, I thought the prenup had been signed. Oh, we don't have no prenup? So then they proceed to have this whole conversation about a prenup. And he was like, the prenup is to protect both of y'all. Like, the prenup is for both of y'all. And his ex-wife was like, oh, like it protected me? Oh, like the prenup protected me? So now she all mad and she riled up. Sean is in the middle like, listen, I don't want, Megan doesn't want to sign the prenup. I'm going along with what Megan wants. And it is what it is. And his dad was just not here for it. He was like, well, what if I say I'm not coming to the wedding if you don't sign the prenup? And Sean was like, come on, Dad. Like, would you just not show up to the wedding because of the prenup? And he was just like, he said, I tell you what, what's the big deal? Just sign the document. So, like, they had this whole conversation. Then her dad ended up having to get into it and was like, listen, I know my daughter. She is not out for your son's money. Like, trust, you are good. You don't have to worry about, that. Like, ain't nobody out for your child's money. So they get to the wedding the next day. And, of course, they build up this whole thing about whether the dad's coming. Is the dad coming? Is the dad coming? Is the dad coming? Sean nervous. All of that. Child, he showed up at the last minute. Like, literally, they were getting ready to walk down the aisle. The processional was getting ready to start. So he showed up. But listen, all I got to say is, Sean, you better check that bank account. Because he showed up. But he won't happy. You better check that bank account, see what that balance is before you so happy he showed up. Because I feel like he might have made a stop by the bank on his way to the wedding. Because you said that he didn't already cut you off before because you was dating somebody he didn't like. How you think he gonna feel about you marrying without that prenup? Boy, bye. I don't know. Next time you go to swipe that black card, it might be declined. So last but not least, and this was probably the most dramatic ending out of all of the couples, we have Ginty and Brian. They're going to the chapel. Ginty is getting ready. She's nervous. She said she didn't sleep the night before. She's getting ready. Brian shows up. He says he's nervous. He's got his tux and everything. All the guests are showing up and, they're making little comments. Her guests are making little comments like, I can't believe she's doing this. Did they get a prenup? Is she sure? Like, they're having these comments at the wedding. So her two little friends, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, show up and they go to talk to her. And my thing is this. This is how I feel about the situation. And this is to my friends, people who know me. I don't care how much you hate the person I'm getting ready to marry. You have already told me you don't like him. You have already told me he ain't ish. You done already told me to look out. You done already told me you think he after me for whatever it is you think he after me for. On the day of my wedding, shut the fuck up. Like, the last thing she needed was for her two best friends to come back there and tell her how much they did not want her to get married. How bad of a decision that they thought it was. How detriment. Like they were all gloom and doom. And my thing is, if at this point in the matter, if you can't say something nice, then either just don't show up or just don't show up. Because that to me was disrespect. Like, I felt really bad for Ginty that her two best friends spent that time. She had already told y'all she's nervous and she's not sure. You've said it all before. Like, you've said all of those things that you said to her. You've told her. She knows how you guys feel. She knows how you feel. Anyway, so they supposed to be getting ready to get married. The two friends come out. They hug Brian and everything. And then they say, Ginty wants to talk to you. He was like, well, she wants to talk to me about what? We don't know. She wants to talk to you. I'm like, you know good and damn well what she wants to talk to you about. Next thing you know, he goes back there to talk to Ginty, and what happens? Ginty talking about something. I can't do this. I'm sorry, Brian. I thought I could go through with it, but it's just been so many lies. It's just been so many. I just don't trust you, and without trust, we just don't have anything. Now, listen, I'm not saying Ginty was wrong. All I'm saying was that her friends, well, I think her friends were out of order with how and when they chose to address it. That's just my opinion. So she goes riding off in her Porsche. Honey, Brian was like, my parents are on their way. And she leaves him, and he is totally devastated. Like, he calls his parents, and he starts crying. And in his little confessional, he can't even finish out his interview. He walks off. And I felt really bad for him. I did. Again, I do think Brian might have some stuff with him. But I felt bad for how it went down. I really do. But anyway, that was the season finale. So we're going to roll into season 2. And y'all, this is the season that has the friend of a friend on here, Rodney. I know Rodney threw somebody else. So we'll talk about it. Talk to y'all later. Peace.